Hello students, getting an internship is pretty much an expectation for you nowadays because it's the best path to get real work experience that massively improves your chances of landing a job after graduation. A few details about the internship experience before we dive into our approach to how to get one. First, how are internships actually set up? A typical internship will have something like the following schedule. It'll be around 10 weeks long. The first week will often be orientation and training. Weeks 2 through 5 will usually be project work. Week 6, sometimes in the middle, will be a retreat for interns, if that is offered at the place you are interning. The remaining weeks of the internship, you'll finish up your project work, and then the final days is when you'll wrap up and get your formal review and sometimes even a job offer. You should know that companies differ significantly in how they run internships and how structured they are. Family businesses probably won't have any structure. There, you might just expect to do whatever the boss says each day, while big companies will usually have projects identified for interns ahead of time, and sometimes they'll even expect a final deliverable at the end of your time with the company. You should know what you are walking into ahead of time, but it's important to remain flexible, and if they don't tell you, to ask. Many internships involve a cohort of interns who will likely be pre-professional students like yourself. These cohorts are a powerful source of support and usually form the foundation of your network inside the company. You might also be assigned a mentor to help guide you through the summer in addition to any HR staff and summer coordinators the company has. This doesn't always happen, so keep an eye out for opportunities to create an unofficial mentor relationship with someone at the company when the opportunity presents itself. Last, a quick word about the actual work you'll be doing. Obviously, this varies by industry, but one of the best tips we can offer about internships is that what you do does not matter as much as how you do it, which is handy because the work you do as an intern isn't always glamorous or exciting. Typical internship work involves administrative tasks, data entry and analysis, research projects, sometimes rotational work, sometimes orphaned projects like the stuff the day-to-day employees haven't got the capacity to get to. From our perspective, what actually matters in your internship are your attitude, empathy, collaboration, hard work, punctuality, learning, and growth trajectory. These things can happen regardless of what you're working on. And an internship is an opportunity to show your company of choice what an asset you as a person can be. They're not expecting someone to show up knowing it all already, and in fact, companies don't want interns who think they know it all. All right, enough context. So how do you actually land an internship? The PathFinder internship search framework has 3 main branches: prepare, identify, and communicate. Let's look at prepare first, where we have 2 sub-branches: reflect and resume. Reflecting here means doing a tiny bit of thinking about what you might like to do when you graduate. At this stage, you will need to be open-minded about what internship opportunities you will pursue and accept. Even still, you should take some time to think through what careers or industries might interest you. A few questions to get you started are listed here, but we want to highlight the most important and overlooked one here. What are you solving for? You need a job for food and shelter, obviously, but failing to push your thinking further is a huge mistake. Different careers offer and don't offer different things. Do you want money, prestige, to help people, to innovate, to work alone? Some mix of those things? There are no wrong answers other than not thinking about it and not being honest with yourself. For example, you might identify something like, I solve for jobs that are people-oriented, offer learning opportunities, and pay me enough money to occasionally take time off. That's not an incredibly specific list of goals, but it's a heck of a lot more useful than just applying to jobs randomly. To take this further, our workbook has a list of starter questions to get you thinking about what really matters to you when it comes to work. You'll start by asking yourself what you're interested in and passionate about, but go deeper than that and think about how many years of education you're willing to put in, the type of people you prefer to work with, the competitiveness of the industry, what kind of hours you want to work, and so on. Once you're armed with a better idea of where you'd like to start, you'll move on to create your resume. Just to be clear, reflect doesn't mean identify your perfect dream career that will work forever and everything will be amazing, yay. It means thinking at a high level about things that might work for you and narrowing your focus just a bit. Experts expect members of Gen Z to have 18 different jobs during their careers. So reject any pressure to come up with a perfect career answer now, and instead look for things that might work and where you'll learn a thing or two, even if you aren't going to stay there forever. That's good enough at this stage. Next up is your resume.
Now, we've beaten this topic to death in the resume module, but if you skipped that one, you should know your resume is a one-page summary of your professional and educational life. Employers will screen resumes for fit, so you must put your best foot forward. Here's a quick overview of how to construct your resume so it doesn't get tossed out during screening. In addition to your name and contact info, you'll need to include summary statement, also called an objective. On some resumes, this is a simple statement explaining who you are and what you're about. You'll also need your experience descriptions. Lead with past tense action verbs that are punchy, like led, developed, drove, collaborated, etc. And put your most compelling, most impressive stuff higher up because screeners won't always read every bullet. Next, you'll want to quantify. Substantiate your experience with quantification and data. Quantification makes your past experience sound more impressive and more believable. You'll want to cut mediocre points. Filler won't help. Having nothing is better than fluff. Next, in your personal section, you'll want to include hobbies, interests, accomplishments, and so forth to give your reader something to connect to. Don't forget your trends and themes. Try to tell a coherent story, like increasing responsibility and impact, that reinforces your professional themes, like being a mentor in the making or a data guru. Again, refer to our resume module for how to do this the right way. So that's it for prepare. Think a bit about yourself and what you might like to do so you can narrow your focus slightly. Then get your resume in shape so you have it ready. Now it's time to identify specific opportunities. As a student, you don't have a lot of work experience, nor will you have a robust professional network. That will come in time, but now we need to lean on people already close to us to make this happen, and that starts with your immediate and extended family. Start by identifying the people you know well, like your family, and expand from there to extended family, friends, and neighbors. Don't rely on your memory here. Create a simple spreadsheet and include the following: name, who is this person? Connection to you, how do you know them? Industry, what kind of work do they do? Company, identify where they work. And hypothesis. This is the critical piece. Spend a minute thinking about how they might help you. Write down a hypothesis. Don't forget at the end to also include priority. Take some stock of all that information and prioritize who you're going to reach out to first. Let's look at this illustration to see what this might look like. Here we've got 10 people listed, which is a good start. The list includes immediate family, extended family, and friends' parents from school. Next, we see a variety of industries and companies ranging from lawyers to accountants to educators and more. Next, we have the hypothesis. You'll see not everyone is likely to be helpful. In this hypothetical, our student isn't excited about the stress of restaurant work or the heat of automotive repair, but they are open to office roles in professional service industries like marketing. So they prioritize the list accordingly. It's really that simple. And remember, you aren't asking any of these people for a kidney. You're a student looking for help landing an internship. So it's okay to reach out, even if they aren't able or interested in helping at the end of the day. Next up, research. Your existing network will probably be your best option, but don't neglect opportunities outside your network too. Online, you'll find numerous options for internships at corporations, nonprofits, and government agencies, including thousands of businesses, governments, and nonprofits. We just went on and on about LinkedIn, so you should know how to find opportunities there, but there are other options too. So spend some time poking around to see what's out there. All right, so we've prepared by reflecting and getting our resume right. We've identified opportunities and connections to target in our personal network and online. Now, it's time to actually reach out. It's time to communicate. We think you should start with a simple coffee chat. We explore this topic in depth elsewhere in the program, but suffice it to say, a coffee chat is an informal meeting between two professionals or a professional and student where they meet to discuss professional topics and opportunities. Coffee chats are common at universities across America. They offer a good, low-stakes opportunity for students like yourself to learn more about industries and professions you are interested in. So how do we set up a coffee chat with high-priority people in our network? We use email or direct messaging if you're connected on a platform like LinkedIn. This won't just be any email. We're trying to get an internship and take our first steps into the real world, so we want to do this the right way. Here are a couple things you should aim for. The first is scale. Not everyone you email will respond. Make sure you reach out to no fewer than 20 people for opportunities. The more people you ask for help, the more likely you are to get it. Next, professionalism. Show you are ready for a professional environment by sending error-free, respectful, and articulate emails. Always use the person's proper title. Next, clarity. Strive for clarity and precision in your emails. Be explicit about who you are and what you're asking for. Email type can be broken down into 4 basic categories: current, warm, cold, and institutional. Let's talk about current contact. You can be more direct and less formal. These are the people you know well. They won't need as much explanation as to why you're reaching out. Next is warm contacts. These are people who know of you but need additional context and a little more formality. Next is cold contacts. These people don't know you from Adam. They will require clarity up front. And finally, institutional contacts. These emails are highly formal and often accompany an application drop. Sometimes simple emails are deceptively difficult. That's why we've spared you the angst of crafting original messages and provided templates for all 4 types of email communication. Change the details to accurately reflect yours and make the necessary tweaks to keep it more consistent with your usual communication style. But you've got most of what you need in your workbook ready to be used over and over again. We're to the end of the internship search process, so let's summarize. You'll want to prepare by considering what careers might be a good fit and what you're solving for. You'll want to build your resume. Next, you'll identify who you know and how they might help you. Go online to source additional opportunities. And finally, you'll communicate. Email your network and start networking with everyone you can.